Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Wonderful World, the Louis Armstrong musical. Now, before I get into this show, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me. My birthday is in 5 days, and so for my present, please click that subscribe button wherever it is. So going into this show, I thought I had a pretty good understanding of what it would be. I was like, it's going to be a retrospective of Louis Armstrong's life, and we're going to use a lot of the songs that he either made famous or that he just was known for singing, or just probably from his catalog of recordings of songs. And that is pretty much what you get with the show. I was a little disappointed in that I didn't feel like I left the show knowing more about Louis Armstrong than I did going in. I did learn that the man had 4 wives. And the way this show is structured is we spend about 25-30 minutes with each wife in 4 different locations. He starts out in New Orleans, where he got his beginning, and wife number 1. Then we go to Chicago, where he meets wife number 2, and she helps him learn his craft. And then we go to wife number 3, and that's in Hollywood, where he becomes a huge success. And then wife number 4 is back in New York, where he is faced with a difficult decision and gets blackballed for a little bit, but then finally is able to come back. And that is the arc of the show. So structurally, I felt like I was watching the same musical 4 times, because we get a song of him falling in love with this woman, and then something to do with his career, and then a song of him breaking up with the woman. And this happens 3 times, and then the 4th time we don't get a breakup song because he dies this time. So his last wife outlives him. All right, James Monroe Iglehart plays Louis Armstrong, and he really disappears into this character. He does the voice for most of it. This was a little confusion for me. When he's very young, he doesn't have that raspy voice, but then he gets a cold and is taking medicine, and his voice changes like immediately to the voice we know for Louis Armstrong. And then it stayed that way, and I was like, are you saying he basically had a cold for 50 years of his life? I don't know. I just thought he was a smoker. One comment on James Monroe Iglehart's performance. He does disappear into this character, but at the same time, I feel like the affectation of being Louis Armstrong didn't allow me really to see into the emotional heart of who Louis Armstrong was. Each one of his wives are fantastic. They all have tremendous voices. They're all triple threats. They're singing, they're acting, they're dancing. They're great. Anytime one of the wives is on stage, I don't care what they sing, I'm entertained. And I gotta say, I love this music. The jazz, blues, New Orleans style is music I could listen to forever. So normally in a musical, you have one main couple that we're gonna focus on, and then a side couple, the young people that get 1 or 2 songs. But usually we're spending 2.5 hours focusing on one couple. Well, what happens with A Wonderful World is we do it 4 times. And it's not like a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical where the songs are telling us about the relationship and moving the plot forward. These songs do not move the plot forward because they're just from his catalog, and they're just a love song or a breakup song. So you have these very short scenes that come in between the songs that have to tell us everything about his relationship with these women. And I'm glad that it moves at a really fast pace, but there's some confusion because questions you have about, well, why won't she go to Chicago with him? Or why does this wife not want him to go to Hollywood? Or why are they fighting about this? There's no time to delve into that. It's just basically they have to tell you, we're getting along, now we're not getting along. Which makes it hard to really invest in any one of these relationships that Louis has. And so the whole proceeding, you're very much an observer. It's very historical perspective of Louis Armstrong. I think the director knew that this was an issue, and so who is the director? Look at this. This musical was co-directed by James Monroe Iglehart and Christina Sajou. I did not know that. I'm impressed. They did a good job, especially being in the show and directing it. All right, my hat's off to you. I thought the direction was good. The costumes are great. The choreography is great. The set design is fantastic. The lighting's good, the orchestrations are great, I could understand everybody. I really like the choreography because each one of these 4 sections are a different time period in a different place. So I thought they did a great job of, for example, New Orleans, they've got these kind of sexier New Orleans outfits, especially the women got the best costumes in the show. And the choreography they're doing is very like disjointed and very loose and earthy and had like African influences to it. Then we go to Chicago and we get some Lindy Hop and some more jazz inspired choreography. And then we go to Hollywood and we get the tap dancing. And then we go to New York and we get like Cotton Club. So it was really fun to see the women's costumes and their style of singing and all of that change as we went from each location, and the decades flew by. So was I bored? Not really, because the show just kept moving throughout. I loved the music, I loved the dancing. I was bored with the structure of the show, but I was never checking my watch. Also because I knew that we were doing 4 wives, so at any time I knew exactly how much left was with the musical. And they also did a great thing of just wrapping it up very quickly at the end. You know what the final song is going to be. They sing the song, we're done, we plot, we go home. Great. And confusion, just a little bit of the confusion with the dramatic ins and outs of each of his relationship with these women, because there just wasn't time to really dive into it. And I really wish I would have gotten to learn more about who Louis Armstrong was. So if you like the music of Louis Armstrong, if you want to see some great dancers, if you want to see 4 fantastic actresses who sing the house down, if you want to see just a great performance by everyone in general, including James Monroe Eaglehart as Louis Armstrong, go check the show out. It's playing at Studio 54.
Don't bore me, don't confuse me. If you do, then you'll lose me. Don't wanna drift away, wanna stay inside the play. Keep me engaged, keep me amused with what's in front of me, 'cause I don't wanna be bored and confused.